guys, I have another video for you guys. So God was telling me something last night, and I had a dream last night, and this dream was for me. I'm going to go into a little bit of details, but not full details, but I'm going to let you guys know what God told me. And he basically he also said something to me last night. Yeah, he said that he is protecting us. Okay, he is protecting his children. Even if you may not feel like it, I'm telling you, God is protecting you. Don't worry, okay? Because I'm telling you, the battles behind the scenes are not what they look like physically. They're worse, okay? And it's things that you can't see that, God is fighting off for us, okay? I'm going to start off by saying this, okay? I know some of you guys are feeling lonely. Some of you guys feel like God has removed you from so much people. And you're like, God, I'm lonely. I don't like feeling lonely. This is frustrating, etc. And God is saying, I did all that to protect you. Because you are still falling in the ways of your patterns. You're still falling of the ways of the things that, were leading you astray. Were confusing you. Were keeping you stuck. There was no growth happening for you. So I had to remove you from those who are going to hinder your growth. I had to remove you from those who are going to put you down. I had to remove you from those who are going to make you question my purpose for you. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what God is saying. And let me tell you why. So last night I had a dream. It was so weird. But in this dream, I saw all three of my exes in the same dream. Okay. And it was weird because I went in the kitchen and there was one ex in the kitchen. And then in the kitchen, I'm talking to this ex. And, I started noticing he was doing specific things, like specific patterns of him. And then I remember hearing in the dream, ask him, what happened with the situation. Like basically in the dream, I was able to get clarity from all three of my exes. Do you see what I'm saying? It was weird. I was in a dream. It's like clarity or closure, even though I don't care and I didn't want it. God put me in that position for a reason because it was a learning experience. I want to explain it to you. But I'm in the kitchen. I'm getting some type of clarity and closure from one of my exes. And then I ended up going to the living room. There was another ex and I ended up talking to him and I started getting clarity and closure based on that situation. And then there was another ex and then I started getting clarity and closure from that ex. And that was another part of the house, right? So there were different sections of the house. And I was kind of frustrated in the dream because I'm like, why are they even here? But let me tell you something. In the dream, God was just like, don't focus too much on the physical, but really, really take in the spiritual deep stuff. So I'm like, okay, so I'm sitting back and I'm kind of observing. And I started noticing something. All three of my exes had something in common. And it was a trait that I looked past. Do you see what I'm saying? It was a trait that was so obvious. It was a characteristic that was so obvious, and a negative characteristic that was so obvious, but I looked past it. So it was kind of like I was kind of putting myself in the same situation, getting into that new relationship and then breaking up with that person again. I was putting myself in the same situation, even though I thought the relationship would be different because of that same characteristics that they have, that same trait that they have, right? And it wasn't until I got up out the dream, I heard God say, wake up. Because I'm thinking of the negative side. I'm thinking negatively about you. I'm like, I don't want to say that. Why am I saying that for? I didn't want clarity. And God was like, wake up. And I'm like, oh, okay. Then I start remembering the deeper details behind it. I'm like, okay, I get it now. So I'm not going to tell you what the negative characteristics or traits is, but let me tell you something. They all had the same thing. And I was looking past that. And then I started noticing something different about my kingdom husband. He thinks differently than them. And I noticed that when I met my kingdom husband, I was never attracted to him. He was never the type of person I would date. And I even said to myself, like, I would never be attracted to this person. He's not the kind of person I would date. You know what I mean? And then shortly later on, God started revealing the prophetic dreams and stuff and the prophetic visions of him. And then me being in denial about my feelings, it ended up getting stronger and stronger and stronger, right? And then I ended up falling in love with him. So I noticed that he was completely different from these men that I dated in the past. Do you see what I'm saying? And you guys get where I'm going with this. So the point of me saying is God was saying, use this as a learning experience, not just for you, but for a lot of people. Just like when he gives me prophetic dreams for you guys, I take it as a learning experience for myself too. So what he was saying is that he was protecting you. He's protecting you guys. That's why he removed you guys from specific people. It doesn't just have to be exes, but it can be friends. Do you see what I'm saying? You may have had that same, you may have been, looking for something so badly, you found it in the wrong people, and you noticed that all the friends that you had in your past, there was something similar with them. I noticed the same thing about the friends that I had in my past. Like, they all had some type of similar characteristic that I looked past. similar trait that I looked past. Because when you have a good heart, you don't look at people for the negative. You always see the best and try to look at the good in people. But if you actually step back a bit and observe people, and you're more cautious and you're more awake, and you have discernment now, it's not that you're looking for the negative, but you can kind of see clearly. Do you see what I'm saying? You can notice the red flags right away. It's like when you're celibate for so long, you know what I mean? It's kind of like you can notice the red flags in a man right away, and you know if this is someone you should avoid or not. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you're more kind of awake, you're more clear. You see, it's like that same concept. So God was like, do you see now? I'm like, yeah, I see now. That's the same thing with you guys. God is saying he did this to protect you. He did this to protect your purpose. Because had he not removed you from these people, you get what I'm saying? Had he not called you, had he not pulled you away from these people, you would have still been falling back into the same patterns. You would have still been attracting the same type of people. You see, the devil knows what kind of person you are. The devil knows your weakness. The devil knows what type of red flags you're going to ignore. That's why you always notice that all the exes are similar. You always notice all the friends were similar, or the family members are similar. The people that were in your life that were mistreating you and blocking you, they were all have this similar type of trait that you looked past. Do you see what I'm saying? God is saying he's trying to protect you. Now, I know you're lonely, but here's a message that I got from God too. He was saying that you and your kingdom wife, or you and your kingdom husband, you guys don't need anybody else, because you got God. If you have kids, you got your kids. You get what I'm saying? But you don't need anybody else. God was telling me, like he told me this before, and he reminded me again. He was saying that the person that he has placed in your life, the person that has none of the characteristics like these other individuals that you have dated or you have been with, or friends that you've had, even the friends that are coming into your life, you have to understand that God is going to bring people in that are going to be on that same alignment, that same like prophetic alignment, okay? But even then, he was saying you don't really need a lot of friends. You don't need a lot of friends. You get what I'm saying? He specifically told me that it's just me and my kingdom husband. That's all we're gonna really have. He said the same thing about a lot of you guys as well. Like he was saying, like you and your kingdom wife, that's all. Some of you guys, that's what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be. It's just you and your partner, and that's it. Because you guys have that understanding in God. You guys have that understanding in Christ. You guys have that understanding when it comes to your spiritual gifts. You guys have that understanding when it comes to your prayers, when it comes to your prophecies, when it comes to your visions, when it comes to your dreams, when it comes to the purpose. You guys are on the same alignment with God's purpose. Therefore, that spouse, that husband, that wife is not going to try to block you if they're heading to the same purpose as you, if they're God ordained. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, that's why God says they're all you kind of really need. You know what I mean? Of course, you guys need God. You guys obviously know what I mean. But, I'm talking about in the flesh wise, like physical wise, because you guys already have that spiritual alignment. So it's kind of like flesh wise is the only person you need. Like physical flesh body wise, I'm talking about, okay? Because I don't know, I'm twisting my words. Everybody be like twisting my words all the time, okay? Another thing he was saying, I think he gave me a scripture. Okay. I love when he does that. Proverbs 31 verse 3. Okay. I think it's verse 3. Yeah, Proverbs 31 verse 3. Do not spend your strength on women, your vigor on those who ruin kings. They've been ruined, and okay. That was not part of the scripture. That was something that I wrote. So let me read it again so you guys understand. Do not spend your strength on women, your vigor on those who ruin kings. Okay. Basically what it's saying, what was being said to the king is, don't spend your strength, your energy, your time on those who ruin kings. Okay. And what God was saying was, he was saying this is not just for kingdom husbands, but this is for kingdom wives as well. Like you guys may have spent all your time and your strength and energy on people who ruined you. And that's what I saw in the dream, the specific traits, the same traits they all had. So some of you kingdom wives, you're spending your time and energy on men that ruined you. Kingdom husband, time and energy on women that ruined you, right? And let me read something to you here. Proverbs 31 verse 10 to 12. A wife of noble character can find, she is worth more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing but of value. She brings him good and no harm all the days of her life. Okay. So what God is saying, because that's why he placed y'all together, because you guys were so accustomed to dating people or being with people that came to ruin you. He brought you someone who came to keep you whole. He brought you a husband that can be confident in you. He brought you a wife, okay? He brought you a wife that can bring no harm to you. Do you see what I'm saying? And because of that, you guys can actually see it now. You see, had you not experienced what you've experienced, you may not have seen the difference. Sometimes we do have to go through certain things to notice the difference. To notice the difference, to notice the cycle. Thank you, Holy Spirit. To notice the generational cycle, okay? To notice the generational patterns, to even notice the generational curse that has to be broken. Do you see what I'm saying? We have to go through things to notice it. You see what I mean? So what God is saying is sometimes you guys only need each other. And that's what he's saying. You and your husband, you and your wife, all you need is each other. Because you both got God. You got the strength of God. Remember, like what I said before, a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. The third strand is God. Well, God is the first strand, and it's you guys. You get what I'm saying? So he's what's keeping that cord together. You see what I'm saying? And if he's keeping that cord together, that foundation together, and it cannot be broken, you have to understand that this is the person that is going to be there through thick and thin. This is the person that's going to love you wholeheartedly. If God never thought this person had pure motives towards you, if God never thought this person if this God thought this person didn't have pure motives towards you, if God thought this person was gonna block you, if God thought this person was gonna hurt you, God would not have brought you two together and said, this is your ordained husband, this is your ordained wife. Do you get what I'm saying? God would not have brought you to this revelation. He brought you to this revelation for a reason. Okay, and this is why he says you got to protect your foundation, you got to protect your kingdom marriage, because he doesn't want you to let anyone, you know what I mean, in your space. And that's why there's always so much blockages and stuff, that he doesn't want no one to come in and try to interfere. But why do you think the devil hates kingdom marriages so much? Because the devil knows that that wife or that husband is that reflection of God, so that marriage is going to be strong. That support system is going to be strong. That foundation is going to be strong. The prayer going to be strong. Okay. The deliverance going to be strong. The prophecy is going to be strong. Everything y'all do is going to be strong because it is through God. Right? You may not have any friends. You may not have any family, but you will have your own family. You and your husband, or you and your husband and the kids. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, that's all you really need, is what God is saying. That's all you really need. And that's what the devil targets kingdom marriages, right? That's why he targets kingdom marriages, because it's strong. Okay. But anyways, I want to give you guys that revelation, because he was saying, once you notice these patterns, you will understand why I had to remove you. And it's okay to feel lonely. Okay. It's okay to feel lonely, but you're not going to be lonely forever. Remember that. And it's for the right reason. Okay. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.